You know, I've been watching a lot of people say a lot of things during the last few weeks about this whole, you know, whether or not to take this thing, this stuff, whether or not to take it, not take it, whatever it is. And what I'm noticing is that a lot of people are expressing a lot of interesting thoughts. Thoughts that sound a lot like what was expressed 70 years ago or 80 years ago. And what I'm noticing is that when somebody brings up, you know, this sounds a lot like the beginnings of this thing, of the thing that happened 80 years ago, I hear all these people going, you know, going up in arms. I can't believe you're saying this. I can't believe this. I can't believe that. I can't believe you're comparing. This is so offensive. This is so offensive to my relatives. This is offensive, offensive. You know, they just keep like using this word offensive. It's offensive. My friends, I'm going to say this, and maybe I'll say it multiple times so that it hammers through your thick skulls, whoever doesn't understand. The train cars and the gas chambers and the concentration camps did not start in 1941. The process to that entire episode began, I'll say safely, if not in 1933, began in 1929. My friends, we had what's called a slow play via policies, via societal manipulations and coercions and changes and propaganda and, you know, just a lot of propaganda, a lot of, you know, it started out as just, this is for the good of the nation. This is for the economy. This is for this. This is for that. Be a good citizen. Be a good this. My friends, it went on and on and on for a few years. For a few years. Again, I'm telling you guys this as a person whose grandfather fought in World War II, who warned his father, and his father didn't listen. At that point, it was already that was already the, you know, anybody could see it, unless you were far away, which my great grandfather was. And he told him, "No, what are you talking about? Like, these guys are, you know, they helped us in World War I. Guys, the point is not about the point is not about this entity or the Nazis or the Germans or anything else. The point is that we can see something coming, and we can warn you, and warn you, and warn you, and tell you this is not going to lead to anything good. In 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, this is not. In this particular case, it might be way shorter time span, because as we know, these things go exponential. You know what I'm saying? And you know, people could sit around and be offended all they want. They could really just sit around and be offended all they want. They can cry, they can say, I can't believe you're saying this, and ta-ta-ta-ta-ta, and blah, 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 blah. Whatever, this is nothing like that, this is nothing like that, whatever. What are you saying? My friends, I read a post from somebody who works in my industry, who I thought was like a normal guy, who said, maybe we should put these people into a you know, like they did with the Japanese, to internment camps. Like just temporarily, so that, you know, we're sure that everything will be okay, and then after this thing dies down, we'll take them out of the internment camps. Internment, not concentration, an internment camp. It's like houses, you know, in the middle of a field somewhere in, I don't know, Nevada. My friends, I heard a guy, and then he backtracked and he said, people were like, are you serious? He was like, no, obviously I'm not serious, you know, obviously because he has history in his family of whatever it is. But, you know, it's like, you know, it's just like a thought. It's a thought. My friends, a lot of people have a lot of thoughts. And a lot of them have been expressing it. And I would say that it's at least 50% of the people out there, which is really scary to me, my friends. It's really scary to me. And I've come to the conclusion that a lot of people would be willing, for the greater good, to basically allow for their neighbor to be taken away in some kind of car or a van or a bus to a particular place, even if temporary, supposedly, allegedly, right? For the greater good. A lot of these people are convinced now, if this happens, it's for the greater good. My friends, we're talking about a disease. I just read the statistics today. Of like Israel, which is basically kind of the testing ground for the world, right? You got like, whatever, let's say 6,000 positive cases of this disease. And now you get, Ministry of Health of Israel. It says published data on the ages of 157 corona patients who have died since the middle of last month, since the middle of July 2021. 35 of them are age 90 and over, 55 80 to 89, 46 was 70 to 79, 15 of them were 60 to 69. 96% of the people who passed away from this thing since a month and a half ago were the age of 60 and over, my friends. And they most likely, they don't tell us here, had what's called comorbidities. They had pre-existing conditions. My friends, as I said before, the thing that scares people about this thing is not the death, it's not the amount of death, it's the way you die. It's what Rabbi Kessin said. It's the asphyxiation, it's the scary, you're drowning, right? And he mentioned the 24,000 students of Rabbi Akiva, and what is it called? And they were speaking Lashon Hara, and they died because they were speaking Lashon Hara. But the Gemara talks about they had what's called askara. It was like asphyxiation. They choked. And this is what's happening again because of the rampant Lashon Hara in the world, and this is what Hashem is bringing this thing. My friends, so we're talking about something that's basically, even if you take away these medicines, so to speak, the majority of the world is not meant to die from this. But I'll tell you guys something. If we keep going the way we're going, has v'shalom, we may end up in that state, not because of the disease, but because of other things, because of policies and because of just people being basically whipped up into a frenzy of fear and whipped up into a mentality to where they think that they're the good guys, and everybody who doesn't do what they do or doesn't comply with what they're doing is the bad guy. It's all their fault. We're going to point fingers at them. My friends, you can be offended. I really, at this point, don't care. You can be offended all you want. I'm telling you again. Genocide does not begin out of left field. It's a slow roll. It took, the last time we saw this, the last time we saw people selling their neighbors to the authorities and sitting around with, and looking at themselves with pride and looking at it with glee that they were doing something as a good citizen of whatever country. The last time this happened, it took about 8 or 9 years, if not 10 years. And then the culmination of which was already, that's already, you know the story, okay? That's already the camps and all the rest of it, and the gas. And even then, people, halfway across the world didn't believe that was happening. Oh, what are you talking about? Oh, it's crazy. We can't possibly be. My friends, you want to be offended? You're free to be offended. But you're not free to be stupid. Okay? And what I've been reading from people, from some normal guy I thought it was normal, posting about internment camps, I saw a few people post on Twitter, a lot of people actually, we should just eliminate these. When are they going to start camps for these people? So we could all be safe from this disease. When are they going to start camps? What are they going to do? Oh, waiting for the camps. My friends, again, I'm repeating again. You can be offended. You can say, how dare you? I had this, I had that, relative, schmelative, whatever. My friends, I had relatives too. But again, as a former Soviet citizen, I'm telling you right now, the stuff that they're pulling, the stuff that's being pulled right now by governments all over the world, whether it's Israel, whether it's America, whether it's Australia right now, this smells like rotten herring, my friends. Rotten, we call it in Russian, selyotka. It smells. Believe me when I tell you, as a former, my parents are refuseniks, were dissidents. Okay? It stinks to high heaven, and it is the precursors of something that you guys keep yakking about. Never again, never again, never again, never again. Well, do you even know what the F that means? It means that people, it doesn't matter for what reason, are whipped up into a certain mentality, a certain way of thinking, and then they get it into their heads that that whoever thinks this way is a good person, whoever does and thinks this way is a bad person, and it is my duty as a citizen, and if I can't convince this person to do X, Y, I'm going to basically rat them out to the authorities and have a nice day. My friends, again, if you don't understand what I'm saying, I can't make you smart and bump your IQ points so that you understand what the hell I'm saying. Okay? And in case you need proof, my friends, the people who are pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing this particular, what they call a cure, they're the ones who are the sociopaths. If what they were doing was genuine, if they actually were trying to save people, they wouldn't be canceling, they wouldn't be censoring, they wouldn't be deleting and hiding, covering up, antagonizing, dismissing, refusing to debate people, drumming up fear, gaslighting, turning us against, society against itself, us against each other. They wouldn't be trying to conquer us and control us. My friends, what I just described is behaviors of sociopaths. This is not normal people. We're the normal people. You guys, even the ones that think that you're, that took this stuff, you're the normal people. You're being used by the sociopaths. They've manipulated into basically selling out your neighbor. Essentially, that's eventually what's going to happen. My friends, you know how I know they're sociopaths? Because the same people have the audacity to write articles and make podcasts asking the question, gee, I wonder why, whose fault is it that they don't trust us? None of them trust the media, none of them trust this, none of them, I can't believe that this is, I don't understand, this is Trump's fault. Maybe it's like these middle America types, they don't really read so well. Could it be that they lie? Could it be that they've paid billions of dollars in fines for stuff they did before? I don't know. Could have been that they've been sued for billions of dollars. My friends, if they really cared about humanity, there's some. First of all, they would let us use treatments that are already proven instead of taking the stuff that they're making, forcing it on us. They wouldn't squash anybody who talks about it. They wouldn't cancel anybody who talks about it. There's a medicine out there that costs $3,000 a pop. They would come to the company and tell them, hey guys, instead of making it 3,000, maybe let's make it 300, because we care about people so much. My friends, they don't care about you. 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 Do you understand? And now they've drummed it up to a point where there's people who talk, like when you debate them, they say, oh, I can see which side you're on. They can't even debate. It's all about sides to them. It's all about, teams and tribes and sides, and they can't even have a discussion. They can't even have a conversation. They're not capable of it because they've been whipped up in such a state that like, I'm like this and you are like this and that's it. My friends, I'm telling you right now, as a former Soviet citizen, granted I was a kid when we left, based on what my parents are telling me, and they are completely honest, this is what these governments and these entities and these social media and all these people have been doing, which I guess you can call them by Torah language, the Erev. They have taken this is carbon copy, page for page, out of the playbook of the Soviet Union, my friends. Or pretty much any totalitarian entity. You're talking about gaslighting, you're talking about censoring, hiding, covering up. First they said it's a conspiracy that this thing is in a lab. Now today they said, well, it wasn't a lab, but it was a bat. So it was a bat, but it wasn't a bat from a market, but it was a bat in a lab. My friends, very soon we're going to hear that it wasn't even a bat, it was just a person. who was instructed by a government to do this. My friends, like, I don't know. Like, we're being taken for idiots. And again, my friends, what's incredible to me is I'm watching this banality of evil, what's called banality of evil. It's not that these people are evil, the ones that are saying these things on Twitter and all these other places. They're not ostensibly not evil. They are being whipped up and drummed up by evil people, by sociopaths, and now they are capable of selling their neighbor. And again, my friends, you want to be offended? Go ahead and be offended. I'm a former Soviet citizen, son of dissidents. My grandfather was in World War II. He fought in Stalingrad. Go be offended. Really. Have an offended party. Get some pizza, get some popcorn. We're offended. A giant sign on your wall, I'm offended. Okay. Whoop-de-freaking-do, you're offended. You know what? I'd rather you be offended and alive than all of us be dead in a couple of years. Okay? That's it, my friends. That's it, my friends. And when we say never again, when I say never again, I mean never again. Because some of the stuff I've been reading, it's looking like it's going towards again. It's going towards again. And you want to say I'm paranoid, I'm this, I'm that, and the other. My friends, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you, really. Okay. Anyway, back to your regularly scheduled programming. And yeah, I guess as you were, feel free to be offended while you're still free. All right, guys, talk to you soon.